Hello, I'm Rohan David, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Total Occupational Medicine has been treating injured workers and providing drug tests and employment physicals in our community with a staff of certified professionals for over 20 years. Conveniently located at 3333 Drusilla Lane at I-12, Total Occupational Medicine can assess your needs and present a plan to get your injured workers back to work as soon as medically appropriate. Call Jim Bollinger or Dennis Taylor at 924-4460 to put the experienced team at Total Occupational Medicine to work for you today. That's 924-4460.
The family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr. and our highly trained staff are dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages in all aspects of dental care. 23 years of experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Fruget to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation because we know how to make you smile.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com has been extremely beneficial for the TM Automotive Group. And what stands out to us, it's easy to use, not only for us, but it's easy for the applicants. And it's the quality of applicants that we get. It's timely. We post something in the morning. By that afternoon, we have double-digit applicants. And again, it's the quality of the applicants.
Employers, now is a great time to hire, recruit, and look for potential new employees.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com. It's free for job seekers and great for business.
Pelican Sports TV presents Pelican Radio. Get ready to mix it up with me, Tommy Krysan, and Chris Landry, weekday afternoons from 3 to 4 p.m. Pro sports, college sports, high school sports, and much more. On the Score 1210 a.m. and on the internet at thescore1210.com.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We want to tell you about FantasyPickZ.com, a new weekly college football pick'em website. You got to go check it out. It's built by some Louisiana guys, Louisiana-owned, free to play with iPad 2s awarded weekly. Gameplay is a blast and gives you another reason to watch football all day. They're also going to have basketball, baseball, golf, bunch of other stuff coming to FantasyPickZ.com. Check it out. Again, a couple of Louisiana natives came up with this and partnering up with Pelican Sports TV to make you aware of them. A new weekly college football pick'em deal. FantasyPickZ.com. Go ahead and check it out. We got a whole other hour here. In this hour, we'll hear from Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Still to come a little bit later on. Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts TV and Sports Shorts Radio give us an update on baseball. They've concluded their fall practices. And we'll take our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. Got some basketball notes for you, some good news, if you will, for Coach Trent Johnson. Again, his team will open the season this Saturday at 12 noon as they play host to the Nicholls State Colonels. Nicholls State beat them last week, so last year, I should say. So LSU should have a little revenge.
Got to get the Colonels this year.
And right now, as we do each and every week, we're joined by Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Brian, good evening. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Brian, what did Coach Miles have to say this afternoon? Three-part question for you, Brian. What did he say in general? Number one. Number two, did he say anything about the quarterback situation? And number three, the injury report.
Really, he didn't have a whole lot to say today. I guess the one piece of news as regards the quarterback is he says, I'm not saying who the starter is.
Okay.
Now, he says, I haven't really even given much thought to it. Both of them are practicing. They both look well. So, and that was the extent of it. So I guess we won't know till Saturday night is which one gets the first start. But understand this, all the way up until this time, he has always said, Jarrett Lee is my starter. So this is the first time that he has not, come out and said that Lee is going to be the starter. So does that mean there will be a change? I'm not sure. I really don't know. If I'd make a guess, I'd guess that Lee starts, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jefferson.
And what about on the injury status? Anything on that?
Well, the only guy who didn't play against Alabama was James Stampley, and he's got some type of an ankle issue. Now, he was supposed to be able to go against Alabama, but J.C. Copeland got all the snaps at fullback. Now, Les did say tonight that Stampley's fine and he will play this week. Again, he said he was fine last week and he didn't play. And then the only guy who got hurt against Alabama and did not return to the game was Josh Williford. And from all what he didn't, Les didn't say anything about Williford tonight, but from all indications that I'm hearing, he's fine and he's able to go. So, LSU's, very, very healthy right now.
And that's a good thing. Western Kentucky would be a time to heal up a bump or a bruise if anybody is in that spot. Brian, tell everybody what they're going to get when they go to tigerbait.com.
www.tigerbait.com, a 7-day free trial at any time. Obviously, a lot of coverage of football, a lot of recruiting coverage now as we're coming down, the last couple months in recruiting, and LSU has a few spots open. And as well as that, with the basketball team opening up its season Saturday, a little bit more basketball coverage as we're getting ready for that season.
Hey, Brian, real quick, not to jump gears on you, but, we haven't really talked about it yet, but we will in a little bit. Ricardo gathers, I think a positive announcement that he's backed out of his commitment with St. John's. Where do you think, if you have a guess, I know LSU's in the mix along with a bunch of teams. How do you feel? Do you feel LSU's in one of the top 2 or 3 for him, or still got a lot of ground to make up, or any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm getting this from a couple of different sources down in the New Orleans area, and it sounds like that Gathers is not going to sign until April, and if LSU shows progress on the court this year, I think there's a pretty good chance that LSU could land him. So if LSU, and again, I don't think they have to be an NCAA tournament team. From what I understand, according to Gathers or what people close to him are saying, if LSU shows progress and is an improvement, they may have a pretty good chance of landing in April.
All right, Brian, we appreciate that very much.
Brian.
Okay. All right, that's Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. When we come back, we'll get into the LSU breakdown. We'll get Chris Landry's analysis on 2 quarterbacks, 1 quarterback, who starts, who doesn't. We can look at all of that. We'll look at that among other things. We'll talk about LSU offense. We'll talk about defense. We'll talk about special teams. We're also going to talk a little bit about recruiting internationally. That's a little bit of a different twist as we go forward with that as well. We'll take our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. I want to thank Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com for joining us right there. We'll come back, talk LSU quarterbacks on Tigers Roar. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, right here on Pelican Sports TV.
It's a male thing.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
Explore the charms of the North Shore and visit St. Tammany Parish. Whether you're looking for a cultural experience or an adventure, you'll find it here. Enjoy great attractions and fantastic dining in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere.
Come visit us and discover the history and heritage that is Louisiana's North Shore.
For more information, log on to louisiananorthshore.com/bb.
It's time to score double points.
Papa's in the house.
Get double points every day to earn free pizza fast with Papa Rewards at papajohns.com.
The best way to kick off game day is with a better pizza, a Papa John's pizza.
Plus, get a large Works pizza or a Tuscan 6 cheese. Your choice, just $11 each. Get double points every day at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Hey, everyone's eating tacos outside Bill's office. Do you think that's some information I would like to know? I like tacos. You invited Eric? I thought Eric gave you the creeps. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
Don't be left behind. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, is getting faster with 4G.
We continue with Tigers Roar. We remind you, this is Wednesday nights live, 2 hours, 8 to 10 p.m. If you're catching us Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Fridays, we're on WHNO TV, Channel 20 out in New Orleans. That covers the North Shore. Tangipahoa, St. Tammany, Washington Parish, Bayou Country, with Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish, as well as the Mississippi Gulf Coast on WHNO TV 20 out of New Orleans. Again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you got a rebroadcast going, but we appreciate you checking that out. Chris Landry, some quick comments from Coach Miles and the players about the 2 quarterbacks, and then we want to get your input on that. As Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com just told you, Les Miles has not named a starter for Saturday night. Monday, he said he didn't even like the word starter, but he's got to start somebody. Here are the comments.
We have 2 quarterbacks that have contributed significantly to the success of the season. I think that'll continue. I haven't given really a lot of thought to it. Again, I think we will need to, and I think we'll go forward, not really making any real determinations at this point.
I think that's been key to us all season, you know, having 2 guys step in and lead us in offense no matter what. And I think Coach Miles did a great job, you know, using both guys. You know, one struggling, he put the other one in, and hopefully they can help us pick up the offense.
He had a bad couple throws, just bad luck that they were back-to-back, you know. Had they been spread out maybe different times in the game, it might not have been such a big deal. But, you know, Jarrett's done a great job all season. And other than the Mississippi State, you know, interception, those have been the only 2 he's had. And he's taken care of the ball and done a great job of commanding the huddle and the offense as well.
I think that we can always turn to how well he plays. I think that's pretty obvious as an example. It's not significant to me, nor has it ever been, to name anybody anything, okay? And it's always about, and will always be about, in the series, in the game, which quarterback gives us the best opportunity at victory. And I expect that both quarterbacks will play.
Like, that week is behind us, and, you know, we're going to cheer him up. You know, we're here for him, we're a team, and I'm pretty sure he's over it now.
We told him we stood behind him, you know. It's a bad game he had. You know, everybody know how the best game every game. So we just told him put him behind and look forward to better things in the future.
It does. You know, it's a long season. It's a grind. And having 2 quarterbacks can, in my opinion, you know, it's going to help us a lot down the road.
I don't think they care. You know, they just want to be both part of the offense, you know, help us win the victories. And it don't really matter who started or who's doing what. They just want to be keep factor in the game.
Chris, we could talk about it all day, all night, every day, all day, all night. Your analysis or your read as it exists right now with the LSU quarterback situation.
Well, first of all, I think let's go back to last week against a really good defense. To some degree, both quarterbacks struggled. This LSU offense got nothing against this Alabama defense. Let's just call it like it is. And there were some mistakes there. I think it's important, not so much that he starts, but that Jarrett Lee gets in and gets into a rhythm again. And yes, I'm not saying his confidence is really shot, but it's something until you get out there and make a couple throws and get back into a rhythm. It's Western Kentucky. It's not Alabama's defense, but it's still, you want to get that rhythm in place. So that's going to happen in this game. I kind of think that he'll end up starting Jarrett and then Jordan will come in, because I think at the end of the day, he needs to make sure that Jarrett is on pace, can get back on track and in rhythm, because I do think that there's a possibility against an Arkansas, against a likely Georgia in the SEC championship game, may need both of these guys. You know, you still are probably going to play 2. You always have the possibility of an injury, roll an ankle up in a game. So I think getting Jarrett Lee on track is important, and I would expect whether he starts the first play or not, probably not the most important thing, but getting him into a rhythm, particularly early, is. I expect both of them to play. And you mentioned on radio, I believe if they're able to handle this game correctly, I believe they can get some meaningful snaps for Zach Mettenberger, maybe by the fourth quarter.
Here's a look at some of the stats on Jarrett Lee and Jordan Jefferson this season. Obviously, Jefferson missed some games early on, but Jefferson's stats, his stats against Alabama, a little more effective with his feet. Although somewhat effective throwing the ball in the 10 times that he did throw it. On the season, you see the numbers for Jordan Jefferson, and I said when he was reinstated to the team, I didn't necessarily agree with him on the quarterback sneak against Kentucky, but I thought LSU became a better football team with him back on the roster. Jarrett Lee, on the other hand, you talk about confidence, consistency. You know, this guy has bounced back from other poor play throughout his career at LSU. He's battled. He's obviously a competitor. He's a warrior. He wants to be on the field. And you want all you got. You want both guys to want to start. I'd hate to be the coach and say, oh, yeah, coach, let that guy start over there. That's good with me. You don't want that anyway. So,
well, which is why you want to get him in quickly, because what you don't want, I think that his confidence will rebound. What you don't want is if he doesn't play for a quarter, to anything to seep into his mind, hey, is coach doubting me off of last week? You know, you want to get that out of the way where he plays, and then you can go back into your rotation situationally how you need it.
Like Chris said, the offense did not do much at all against Alabama, but the defense certainly had a very good football game and a very good showing. Bended a little bit. They bent a little bit, but they didn't break, and you know, got some missed field goals out of it, blocked one, which was a positive, and did the job when they had to do it, in particular when their backs got a little closer to the goal line. Here's some comments from Coach Miles and the players about the LSU defense.
Felt like the defense really had a great effort. You start out with a very capable back, and you know, some adjustments that needed to be made because change of formation, and you know, we got to it. Trent Richardson, you know, certainly was as good as advertised, and they put the brakes on him as we got into the back end of the game. The idea that that defense played with great character. At any point in time, when you're in a slugfest, there's that opportunity to make a play, and that's what they were looking to do. They certainly, the opponent would get close to the goal line, and suddenly there would be a negative play that made a difference, and there was pressure on the quarterback, and there was a ball taken out of the air. And I thought that defense played with great character.
You know, we really don't try to satisfy the world. What we try to do is we try to make sure that our technique and our effort, that we don't bust plays. As long as we're good as a room and as LSU, then it doesn't matter what the world thinks about our defense.
It's a lot to improve on. We actually gave up a lot more yardage than what we really wanted to. We actually watched film this morning, and Coach Shavers told us that in the first half, we actually gave them 100 yards, more than what they were supposed to get, just by missed assignments and missing tackles and stuff like that. So it's a lot to improve on.
Just coming to practice and preparing, you know, for the next game. You know, not focusing on the last game. You know, just fixing your mistakes that you had in the last game. You know, your footwork, your technique. You know, even effort, running to the ball. I mean, I feel like we have to work on that this week.
I think we could do better in tackling. I mean, there's always room for tackling and formations and making certain checks. I mean, we had a little problems with our checks, and when we came back out in the second half, I mean, we kind of cleaned it up a little bit.
Well, in a big game like that, you know, there was a lot of, on my part, I had a lot of missed assignments. I kind of let the atmosphere and things get around me, so I kind of think I need to take 2 steps back, realize where I'm at, take a deep breath, go out there and focus more on my assignment instead of focusing on who's across from me. You know, the guy's big and strong, powerful, very talented, just like me, but you got to stay focused in pressure situations like that, or they could cost the team. So I say as a unit, we just need to focus more on our assignments and dominate them.
It gives us a lot of comfort because we know each and every person on the defense is bound to make a big play in a certain situation. We just don't have to depend on one person. Everybody can step into their role, and we actually have backups that can do the same thing. So that gives Coach Shavers a lot of comfort, knowing that he can put anybody in there to make a big play.
Certainly the LSU defense did some good things, but as Brandon Taylor pointed out, that Coach Chavis pointed out, they had some mistakes, as you pointed out, some blown coverage with Richardson coming out of the backfield, and there's plenty to improve on. One moment you say, wait a minute, plenty to improve. You just beat the second best team in the country in their building, but there's nobody plays a perfect game. It's never happened, never will. But LSU defense, when they had to, in particular in the overtime period, did an outstanding job.
They did a good job. There's no question about it. And it's a product. Sometimes they'll get misaligned a little bit. It's a product. They're very aggressive. I thought they did a good job with run blitzes. Alabama had 32 negative rushing yards, and that was due to LSU's run blitzes that were very effective. So, no, there's no question about it. They did a good job coming up with some big plays at some key moments, and meeting them in the hole. They did a really good job of that. Overplaying the run, they did that very well. And you always can improve. You never stay the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. So it's another opportunity every practice, every meeting. What are you going to do to get better today? That's what your challenge is to your players, and that's what the challenge is coming off of that. And I think that's the only thing that's the difference between now and the finish line, which for them is winning a national championship, is getting better. If they can do that and play with that same type of intensity and focus, then they certainly are the clear odds-on favorites to get that done. If they don't, they have a slip-up, then everything is lost. And I do believe that for this team, for this staff, that it is all or nothing right now. I think it'll be considered a really disastrous season if they don't win it, coming off of that win last week.
Eric Reed had a spectacular game. He was named national
that play there
that play you just saw there. Another play that he made that didn't get as much talk early in the game when Richardson came out of the backfield up the left sideline, and it was a positive play. It was a first down, and Reed really lowered the boom on Richardson and knocked the ball loose. Now, the ball went out of bounds. Alabama retained possession, but it was a big hit. And I think it maybe sent Trent Richardson a little message that they got some guys in the gold hats that are going to hit you when you get ready to be hit. But Reed played a great game. Brandon Taylor, who's been a little inconsistent all year, he played a good game. Here's some comments from Coach Miles and the players on the play, outstanding play of Eric Reed, as well as the play of Brandon Taylor.
Eric Reed, very talented, and as an example, we play freshmen. Guys come in that have the ability to play. We play them. They come to the field, and we ask him to learn. And he was a very confident learner. Really understood scheme very well. Makes adjustments comfortably. In his first year. And remember that he started and played early in his year, and then started and played in the Cotton Bowl. So now, it's an interesting piece. He's played very well throughout the season, but frankly, we've seen that he has the ability to play like he played Saturday, and we've told him. We said, Eric, to improve and to do the things that you're capable of doing, you got to take some other steps, and he does that.
It shows a lot about him because he came in as a freshman, and when I went down, he filled in my shoes, and he played tremendous football. Made a lot of turnovers, and he's continuing to do it this year, becoming more of a better player.
Eric, he's a great player. I mean, whenever we get certain things in, new formations or something, I mean, he's the guy we count on sometimes to make the checks and all that, and he does a good job of doing his homework and studying and putting people in the right position.
He's one of those guys who understands coaching, and as he matures, as he becomes ready to accept being a dominant player, really play after play, he'll be able to achieve that. And in this game, the Alabama game, certainly is an example of how we would have expected him to play, and that he would and can play week after week. So we're really thrilled with his improvement and need it to stay there, because that's the style of field general that we would like to have back in there with Brandon Taylor.
Brandon Taylor's leadership since his last year injury in Alabama game has been superb. He's been doing so many marvelous things for the team. As far as me, he's been guiding me and keeping me focused so that I can come in and get some extra film so that I'll take this more seriously. He kind of guides the young guys to make them see that, you never know when this can be your last play. you never know when somebody's going to call you out, so you got to be prepared to go in there and play like a man. So BTS did a great and excellent job. Him and Ryan Baker, as far as defensive-wise, have done an excellent job on being leaders for the young guys.
He's brought a lot. I mean, Brandon, he's always all over the field. I mean, he's so emotional. I mean, he wants to win. He know how to win, and he put the work in.
Oh, he's been big. You know, he's coming up, making big hits. You know, every game he's flying down. Then he's making interceptions also. So he's been a key to us on defense, flying around making plays for us.
That showed that the coaches have a lot of confidence in me being a leader on and off the field, and me coming off the injury faster than what I was supposed to. Actually, I was 5 months ahead of the schedule because it actually takes a year, and I finished it in, I think, like 7 months. So it means a lot to me, and I think I'm wearing it pretty well right now. Actually got a couple calls from Richard Murphy, who wore 18 last year. He said I was wearing it pretty good. Just continue the good work.
We'll take a quick look at some of the stats of Brandon Taylor and Eric Reed. In particular, there's Taylor. 28 tackles. He's got 5 passes broken up, 3.5 tackles for a loss, pair of interceptions. Taylor has improved. He's bounced back after his injury, and he's done a good job. Eric Reed, as we mentioned, the National Defensive Player of the Week, also the SEC Player of the Week on defense for the season. 34 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, pair of interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. When we come back, we'll talk about some LSU special teams. That was key in the game against Alabama, in particular Drew Alleman. We'll talk about that and more. Chris Landry, Tommy Christ saying, spread the roar. You're watching Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans.
I am Glenn Big Baby Davis, and you're watching Pelican Sports Television.
Hi, I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. My law firm focuses specifically on helping people try to solve their IRS tax problems. Lately, so many new out-of-state companies are popping up claiming that if you send them money, they can resolve your IRS problems. Well, what happens if they don't? Do you hire an attorney? Maybe you should start with a local attorney that's already handled hundreds of IRS cases right here in Louisiana. When you hire the Bryson Law Firm, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some out-of-town high-pressure salesman. You'll meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and we'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it'll cost. So if you're hiring a company to resolve your IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, check their reputation first. Then call me, Kerry Bryson, or go to BrysonLawFirm.com. If you're a Louisiana resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney, Kerry Bryson.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
The family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr. and our highly trained staff are dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages in all aspects of dental care. 23 years of experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Fruget to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation, because we know how to make you smile.
The whole cliche, Chris, special teams are just as important as offense and defense. Special teams played a crucial, critical role. It was a key component in LSU's win from the blocked field goal. Hey, we got to remind him, my bad. Hey, I screwed up. Joe Johnson's coming back to town to give you the best deals on used cars. Look for Joe at North American Automotive Group, 13557 Airline Highway in Gonzales. If you're in the car business in the greater Baton Rouge area, you know Joe Johnson and he is coming back to town very soon. We'll have more details soon, but look for Joe at the North American Automotive Group in Gonzales.
A specialist in his own right.
Yeah, and I even got it read finally. But the special teams, yeah, he's a specialist. You got it. I caught that about 2 seconds too late. But special teams, you know, from the block field goal to the punting to Brad Wayne, pinning them on the 4, pinning them on the 5, the long punt to get out of the hole a little bit. Here's some comments from Coach Miles and Brad Wayne about the LSU special teams.
Being a specialist, you just have to really take opportunity of every chance you have. You know, like you're not sent out there a lot. You know, like a quarterback or a receiver or a linebacker, you're out there nearly every play. When you're on the field, you're out there every play. But you know, we only get called out on the field a handful of times each game. So it's just really about executing when your number's called, and you just got to trust yourself. Like I said, you've practiced a lot. That's all we do is I punt and Drew kicks, and that's all we do at practice. So you just got to trust what you've practiced and just believe in yourself to make the plays when they come.
Drew Almon's 3 for 3 in field goals is certainly exactly what we want. You know, it's interesting. You put a guy on the field that's been around this program, and he just is a comfortable competitor. He just understands what it takes, and it was really nice to have a competitor go in there and kick. Wing has a punt that he didn't enjoy, but again, when it came down to it, he pinned him down in there with punch inside the 10, and has that 73-yarder.
Definitely, you know, I'm always going to try beat my personal bests in everything to do with punting. So I had a 73-yard punt in high school, so I think I missed out by 1 yard on that. But I'm definitely want to try and beat that punt in the future years to come.
As we take a look at the stats on Brad Wing and Drew Allemond, they both played a key role. You see Wing's season stats, but that 73-yard punt was critical in that game.
He's been phenomenal, and I think that it was a little bit understated in this game because of the fact that, you know, he put Alabama in the bind. Alabama drove it out of their back end every time. It's just Alabama didn't execute once they got in the plus 30, but he did his job putting them back the entire time. He's just been phenomenal. I mean, he's just been, no one's done a better job in the country punting, and certainly what can you say about Drew Allemond?
Right, Drew Allemond, 3 for 3 on field goals, including the game winner in overtime. It couldn't have went more between the middle of the post from 25 yards on the season, 13 out of 15, the Acadiana product who kicked a game-tying and a game-winning field goal for the Acadiana Rams to beat the Sulphur Tours in the Superdome a few years back. So the guy must eat pressure for breakfast. He has shown that he can handle that without a question. You know, Brad Wing from Australia, the Parkview Baptist. Coach Miles was asked about recruiting internationally, taking it beyond, not just beyond the boundaries of Louisiana, but beyond the boundaries of the United States. Interesting comments about international recruiting by Coach Miles.
I think it's wonderful. I think you should have an opportunity at a walkabout, and you know, I think that there's probably some sites over there in Australia that, you know, the head coach should have an opportunity to go see. You know, they tell me they have great white sharks in that area, and I think that there's the international player that you know has dealt with crocodiles and the many different, certainly puts themselves in great position to compete in our conference. Yeah, I think you know, it's interesting. It's, in my opinion, the transition of those players to football. Give you an example. When my family went to Jamaica, I think it was, we were looking for Usain Bolt. I had a football job for him. I felt like that speed and that kind of ability could certainly transition into a tall wide receiver. But the reality of it is, if you don't play football, a physical style of football, if you don't understand the technique behind it, even that big, strong, very capable athlete, or that very fast, you know, You don't know if he has ball skills. You don't know how he'd react in an opportunity to make a catch and a collision. So if they play a football, which Australian football is very physical and it's certainly ball skill. In other words, what Wing did training his leg, his entire youth really allowed him to transition to American football. Did so first in high school, and then certainly has done so very effectively in college.
Yeah, I definitely think there's other guys around the world that acquire the same skill sets. It's all about self-belief. You just got to have the belief in yourself to make sacrifices. Like I moved away from my family and friends. You just got to really know what you want and just go chase that dream. And I've done that ever since I was little. So it's all about the internal belief.
When we come back, we'll take our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. We'll be joined by Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts TV and Sports Shorts Radio. Also take a look at a couple of teams joining the SEC. And still to come tonight, we'll have Chris Landry talk a little bit about the BCS. A lot of national talk about what will happen there. Nobody knows for sure. A lot of speculation going on. We got more of Tigers Roar. Stay with us. Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Joe Horn, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com has been extremely beneficial for the TM Automotive Group. And what stands out to us, it's easy to use, not only for us, but it's easy for the applicants. And it's the quality of applicants that we get. It's timely. We post something in the morning. By that afternoon, we have double-digit applicants. And again, it's the quality of the applicants.
Employers, now is a great time to hire, recruit, and look for potential new employees.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com. It's free for job seekers and great for business.
You're on the same flight.
We'll be on the same flight, regardless.
Yeah, when we need to work. Anything together? Do we know that?
Got it.
Thanks, Dave.
The big, brilliant, thin Samsung Infuse 4G. Only from the network of possibilities, AT&T.
Total Occupational Medicine has been treating injured workers and providing drug tests and employment physicals in our community with a staff of certified professionals for over 20 years. Conveniently located at 3333 Drusilla Lane at I-12, Total Occupational Medicine can assess your needs and present a plan to get your injured workers back to work as soon as medically appropriate. Call Jim Bollinger or Dennis Taylor at 924-4460 to put the experienced team at Total Occupational Medicine to work for you today. That's 924-4460.
Pelican Sports TV presents Pelican Radio. Get ready to mix it up with me, Tommy Krysan, and Chris Landry, weekday afternoons from 3 to 4 p.m. Pro sports, college sports, high school sports, and much more. On the Score 1210 a.m. and on the internet at thescore1210.com.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We continue with Tigers Roar here live on a Wednesday night, and breaking news for you, something we talked about at the beginning of the program. The Penn State Board of Trustees has fired Joe Paterno and University President Graham Spanier. Paterno will not coach Saturday. Again, a horrible, horrific story with more ugly legs on it. Joe Paterno is no longer the football coach at Penn State. He will not be there Saturday.
Well, I don't know that there's really anything that they could have done. I think that this had gotten handled so poorly. I think that the events of having him involved in that game would have been a spectacle that would have just pounded and compounded more of an embarrassing situation. So I'm not surprised at all. I knew Graham Spanier was going to be gone, but I'm not surprised that took place.
Yeah, again, Joe Paterno has been fired by the board at Penn State. He announced this morning that he would step down at the end of the year, and he was going to coach his team the rest of the year. It was not his choice to make. The board has decided to fire him immediately, as they have fired the president of the university. The AD has already resigned, and there's going to be a complete house cleaning take place at Penn State. Chris will have more on that tomorrow on the Chris Landry Show at 2 o'clock on the Score 1210am.com. We'll have Pelican Sports Radio at 3 o'clock, and who knows what else will transpire between now and then. Right now it's time for our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. We're joined by Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts TV and Sports Shorts Radio. Ronnie, how you doing this evening?
Hey, TK, doing well.
Ronnie, what's the very latest? I know LSU baseball has put the cleats up for the fall, but what's a wrap-up of fall practice?
Well, you know, the last couple of weeks we talked about LSU baseball. We've talked about the pitching staff, and, you know, this is going to be one of the deepest pitching staffs, you know, in many, many years, and that's going to carry this team, no doubt about it. But Paul Maneri, this past week, I had a chance to talk to Coach Maneri about the offense, and he seems to think that, you know, this year's team is going to be, his quote was, we're going to have 9 tough outs. He said, we don't have a lot of superstars in our lineup, but we'll have 9 tough outs. He said, last year there were times 7, 8, 9 was pretty weak as far as offense was concerned. He says this year he feels like they're tougher top to bottom. Obviously in the middle of their lineup, they're looking for Mason Katz to kind of be big for them because he's one of the few guys with real pop, I mean, double home run potential. So they need Mason Katz to be big. But really, you know, one of the new names, Casey Yoakum, a junior college transfer infielder. He's a 6-foot, 190-pound kid from Reno, Nevada. He's going to probably play second base, and they'll keep Tyler Hanover over at third, with Austin Nola at short. Now, Yoakum has the ability to play shortstop should something happen to Nola, or maybe, you know, Yoakum back for senior year, Nola's gone, maybe look for him to possibly move to shortstop. But Casey Yoakum's had a very good fall. He's been kind of the newcomer that's made the biggest impact in the lineup. Then you got, you know, you look at their lineup, Nola at short, Hanover at third. Tyler Ross has been a pleasant surprise behind the plate. Ty Ross last year, you know, hit low twos, kind of got better as the season went on, but he's had a very good fall. And, of course, Katz and Wright, you know, Jones in center, who moves from second to center. The real question is who's going to play first and who's going to play left, and that's something that they'll have to figure out in the, you know, in the coming weeks.
Ronnie Rance, tell everybody about Sports Shorts Radio.
Well, Sports Shorts Radio, talking LSU baseball, we're going to have Ryan Theriot and Paul Maneri on Sports Shorts Radio this Saturday morning, 10 to noon, on 104.5 FM in Baton Rouge. We do the show every week from Gambino's Restaurant and Bakery on Essen Lane, right next to Red Stick Sports. Come by and check us out. But we taped an interview with Paul Maneri. He breaks down the LSU Tigers 2012 team, and we caught up with Ryan Theriot last week, of course, after he came back as the world champion with the St. Louis Cardinals.
And, of course, right here on Pelican Broadcast is Sports Shorts TV. Tell us about it.
Sports Shorts TV, Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, myself and Chad Bluen. And this week, Derry Beckwith will be our special guest. Of course, Derry Beckwith played at Parkview Baptist, was a great linebacker at LSU on that 07 National Championship team, spent a couple years with the Chargers, trying to get back in the NFL next year. But he looks like he can play right now, in great shape. Derry Beckwith is going to be our guest this week on Sports Shorts TV.
Thank you very much, Ronnie Rance. Look forward to visiting it again.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Also, a couple other LSU athletic department notes. Women's golf picked up a key signing from the North Shore. Elise Bradley, who has an incredible amateur record, is a 2012 signee for Coach Karen Bonson's women's golf team at LSU, a high school state champion, an amateur champ from Mandeville. So Elise Bradley will join LSU women's golf. Men's basketball has signed a point guard from John Curtis, a guy that can score the basketball. Malik Morgan inked in the early signing period today, ranked by the Rivals people. He's a good shooting guard and can, like I said, can score the ball. You see 28.9, that's really 29-point average. So Coach Trent Johnson gets the good signing. And Chris, as you talked about on radio and TV today, Ricardo Gathers plays for former LSU quarterback Timmy Bird. Has decommitted from St. John's, and LSU back in that picture. The soccer team's got an NCAA bid. Coach Brian Lee's team will open in the first round against the Texas A&M squad on the road this Friday night at 6:30. Our Louisiana Sports Writers Association weekly award winners in college football in Louisiana, Quarterback Colby Cameron, a junior from Louisiana Tech, had a great game on the road against Fresno. He gets honored by the Louisiana Sports Writers Association. And to no surprise, defensively, Eric Reed of LSU and Drew Allemeyer with the game-winning kick against Alabama also picks up that award. Got a nice feature for you put together by our staff about Texas A&M and Missouri joining the SEC. We're going to play that for you now, then we'll go to break. We'll come back, talk a little BCS still to come here. But Texas A&M, Missouri, his comments from Coach Miles, from the coaches, from the conference commissioners, Missouri, A&M. Enjoy this piece.
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas A&M, as Dr. Massey just said, is a world-class institution with a great brand, one of only 61 AAU members, a leading research university with one of the largest endowments in the nation. But you not only bring academic excellence to the Southeastern Conference, but athletic success as well, evidenced by 8 national championships in 4 different sports in the last 2 years. That's not bad now. This past year, you finished 8th in the Directors' Cup, won 3 national championships, played us in the Cotton Bowl. I'm not going to remind you of the score. The NCAA men's basketball tournament, and you finished the year at the College World Series. Wonderful year. But equally impressive to me is the culture, the passion, and the spirit of Texas A&M. Over the last month, I have watched your games and enjoyed the passion that surrounds you, the 12th man, the core, muster, the Fighting Texas Aggie Band, midnight yell practice with your yell leaders, and a packed stadium of maroon-clad supporters. This is the kind of pride and passion shared by your fellow members of the SEC.
We've now moved a step in a direction we think is very appropriate for Texas A&M. If you heard my comments, I call this a 100-year decision, a decision we will, I think, relish both today in this great celebration, but every day for 100 years or more, joining the nation's premier athletic conference, the Southeast Conference. Many things went into this decision over the last months, but I have to say, as I've said repeatedly, the principal reason was to be part of a great conference that values each member, that values each and every member equally. We so much appreciate it. A conference offers us the very best visibility nationally. In my work as president, too often I'm told, I didn't know that about Texas A&M. I hadn't heard that before. Now we have a venue, the Southeast Conference, where we will be on the national stage each and every day, each and every week, each and every month. That to me brings extraordinary value to you, our current students, and to our former students as well. The brand of Texas A&M is made by you, and now others will see it daily. We really appreciate that opportunity.
I'd like to welcome Missouri into the conference. Come on in. The water's fine.
Your university and most of the ones in the SEC are both our land grants. We're committed to our states and our regions. There's a lot of similarities that cuts across more than the athletics program, but I can tell you for sure, the one thing that we all have in common is we all want to win. We all want to be the best, and I know you do, and so when we get together, it's to determine who's the best on that day, but we're all going to be SEC members. You'll be a fully functioning SEC member the day you open up your season next year. You can win the SEC next year in any one of the 20 sports that you compete in. We believe in full integration from day one. So welcome to the SEC.
That homecoming is a special tradition here in Missouri. So let me say to the entire Missouri nation, welcome to your new home.
But now as we move forward and we step to the next moment in our history, we have an opportunity that has been given to us to be able to join the SEC and to be part of that. And with that future, as we step forward today and going forward for many, many years to come, we have to recognize this. We're known as the Show Me State. That's what people talk about with Missouri, the Show Me State. Well, you know what? For all of us, it's time for us to step up and show other people who we are. It's important for us to be able to step out and show who we are as far as compassionate, hardworking, playing tough, doing it the right way, welcoming people to our institution, to our contests, and making sure that we show the welcoming spirit that all of us believe in the state of Missouri to all of our friends in the Southeast Conference as well, too. And this is our opportunity to do that, to step up, to support our program and our institution.
You know, I certainly like the SEC. I think there's some great advantages. I think that needs to be taken into account when you put together a quality schedule. And you know, I think that there's there's some pieces that when you put that schedule together that need to be taken into account. I think there's some recognition of current members of this conference that have scheduling issues and need to maintain what would be a quality, competitive equity and not disadvantage. So I think it's an important that's taken into account as well.
Well, they always say change is change, but for me, I struggle with it a little bit. I understand it. It's all about money, unfortunately, but you know, been around and been in 3 or 4 different conferences. The old Southwest Conference, when all the Texas schools were in the Southwest Conference. We haven't been raised in the Northwest when it was the Pac-8 to the Pac-10. Now it's the Pac-12. Haven't coached in the WAC and the Mountain West. You know, it's hard, but I understand it. You know, I think, you know, what we're losing sight of is competition. You know, college athletics has become just a big business. And you know, the late John Wooden said it best. And I never remember him saying this back in 1974 when I was a freshman in college. He said the direction college athletics is going with money and TV, it's not going to be good for competition. I mean, think about that statement years ago. So I understand it. I think A&M coming in our conference is always going to help us. But I'll say this: the SEC, you know, in my opinion, having been around a little bit, is the premier athletic conference in the country from top to bottom in all sports. When you look at what goes on in all our other sports, with the exception of football, track and field, volleyball, swimming, and all, it's pretty dominant. So we're in a pretty good situation here, and the kids who have the opportunity to don these uniforms and jerseys, they should feel pretty special. I
heard that the Packers and the Vikings both have made an application, and frankly, I think that's probably smart, but put them in the East. The great news is you know, Commander Slive has not called me and asked me how we should align these things. I certainly would respond in kind. I know that it's always been the SEC's want and desire to position us as the best and as the strongest and with great advantages, certainly in postseason play. I trust Mike Slive's doing the exact right things. So I would hope that we would have opinion about, you know, some of the interconference play and the crossover games, and you know, some of those things as we continue to add, you know, very, very quality teams. And you know, it doesn't appear to me that the competition in this league, that's currently in this league, is getting any weaker.
When we come back, we're going to get a little BCS talk for you going here in the final segment of Tigers Roar. Stay with us. Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Heinen, Miss Louisiana Team USA 2011.
And I'm Paige Pennick, Miss Louisiana USA 2011.
And you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
It's time to score double points.
Papa's in the house.
Get double points every day to earn free pizza fast with Papa Rewards at papajohns.com.
The best way to kick off game day is with a better pizza, a Papa John's pizza.
Plus, get a large Works pizza or a Tuscan 6 cheese. Your choice, just $11 each. Get double points every day at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Explore the charms of the North Shore and visit St. Tammany Parish. Whether you're looking for a cultural experience or an adventure, you'll find it here. Enjoy great attractions and fantastic dining in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere.
Come visit us and discover the history and heritage that is Louisiana's North Shore.
For more information, log on to louisiananorthshore.com/bb.
Hi, I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. My law firm focuses specifically on helping people try to solve their IRS tax problems. Lately, so many new out-of-state companies are popping up claiming that if you send them money, they can resolve your IRS problems. Well, what happens if they don't? Do you hire an attorney? Maybe you should start with a local attorney that's already handled hundreds of IRS cases right here in Louisiana. When you hire the Bryson Law Firm, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some out-of-town high-pressure salesman. You'll meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and we'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it'll cost. So if you're hiring a company to resolve your IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, check their reputation first, then call me, Kerry Bryson, or go to brysonlawfirm.com. If you're a Louisiana resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney, Kerry Bryson.
FantasyPickZ.com is a new weekly college football pick'em deal. Check out that website, FantasyPickZ.com. It's made by Louisiana guys, free to play. They got iPad 2s awarded weekly. They also got some basketball and baseball and golf stuff covered. It gives you another reason to watch football all day. FantasyPickZ.com. Go check it out. Again, repeating a story that just broke minutes ago while we were on the air doing this live program Wednesday night. Joe Paterno has been fired by Penn State. He will not coach this weekend. The BCS, Chris, everybody's talking about a possible rematch. I think that's a little premature, especially considering you got a lot of things that are unknown about a lot of different schools and games to be played yet. Your thoughts on the BCS as we wrap up tonight's program?
Well, you know, as a voter, I can tell you in the Harris poll, I can tell you that Oklahoma State, certainly if they go unbeaten, they'll be there in the championship game. Stanford in the same boat. But Oklahoma State, Stanford, some very tough games. Stanford got Oregon this week. You got Oklahoma State. You got Oklahoma at the end of the year. You got Texas Tech this week. So if those teams were to lose, then you'd have all one-loss teams plus potentially an unbeaten Boise who has TCU this week. So it's not out of the question. When you start looking at the best one-loss teams, it could create a groundswell of, hey, let's see the rematch. But until those teams lose, it's really not even a conversation.
Now, the Houston Cougars play Tulane this week, Thursday night game in the Superdome in the Walls. Even if they end up unbeaten, they won't have enough BCS ranking to get up there.
No, in fact, they won't even get a BCS bowl because they're only obligated, the BCS, to take the highest ranked non-AAQ team, which is Boise. So if Boise were to lose, then Houston would end up getting a BCS bid if they went out, because right now they're eligible for a BCS bid. So they're eligible, they've done what they needed to do, but they're only required to BCS to take one, and that's the highest ranked one, and that's Boise right now.
So Houston would be on the outside looking in just a little bit there. Hey, we appreciate everybody being tuned in to Tigers Roar. Again, it's a live show each and every Wednesday night. It streams on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Find us on Facebook. That's a great way to keep up with all the activities of Pelican Sports TV and Pelican Sports Radio. Facebook page is Pelican Broadcasting. Don't forget, on Thursday afternoon, it's the Chris Landry Show from 2 until 3 p.m. on the Score 1210 a.m. thescore1210.com. Tomorrow afternoon, he'll have the very latest on the Penn State situation. Again, Joe Paterno fired tonight by the Board of Trustees at Penn State, as was the president of the university. And, of course, Pelican Sports Radio, 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Chris, a lot of football yet left to be played. The BCS by no means has it all figured out yet. NFL Scout, Fox Sports football analyst, as always, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Tommy.
And don't forget, send an email to pelicanbroadcasting@gmail.com if you want to contact us about anything, question, comment, topic, something for Chris, something for me, something for the staff here at Pelican Sports TV. We appreciate you being tuned in. It takes a lot of people to put this show together. We thank all of them for their efforts. And most importantly, we thank you for watching. Spread the roar. Tigers roar. Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans.